Hello and welcome. You're watching WION World is One. My name is Hem Kaur Saroya and here's a look at all the stories that we've lined up for you on Speed News today. Let's get started. The government of Nepal has lifted its ban on social media platforms following the nationwide youth-led protests. The demonstrations, which erupted after the government blocked 26 unregistered platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, X, turned deadly. At least 19 were killed, over 400 injured as the police used water cannons, tear gas, and live ammunition to disperse the crowd in Kathmandu and other parts of the country. Violence, Nepal's Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak resigned, citing moral responsibility. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has expressed grief over the deaths. Turkish police stormed the Istanbul headquarters of the main opposition Republic People's Party, following a court order appointing a trustee to replace its provincial head. Supporters and party officials scuffled with riot police, using furniture to block the entrance, while police deployed pepper spray and detained several protesters. The standoff follows weeks of tensions, including the arrest of Istanbul's opposition mayor and the restrictions placed on social media platforms in Turkey. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has responded by insisting that the CHP must respect the rule of law, warning against refusing court decisions. Norway's Labour Party and its allies, led by Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre, has won a second term in office after securing a narrow majority with its left-leaning allies. Official results show Labour and four smaller parties winning 87 seats, just above the 85 needed. The election, dominated by rising living costs and global conflicts in Ukraine and Gaza, also saw the populist right achieve its best-ever result. The Prime Minister now faces tough negotiations over tax hikes for the wealthy. Future oil exploration in Norway's $2 trillion sovereign wealth fund's investment. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has strongly condemned a terror attack in East Jerusalem that left 6 people dead and several others injured. Palestinian gunmen opened fire at a bus stop on Monday, targeting civilians. UN's chief spokesman Stefan Dujarric extended heartfelt condolences to the victims' families and denounced the violence in the strongest terms. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee have released a sexually suggestive letter to Jeffrey Epstein, allegedly signed by Donald Trump, which he has strongly denied. Trump claimed he neither wrote the letter nor created the accompanying image of a woman. The letter was part of a 2003 birthday album compiled for Epstein, the convicted sex trafficker. Trump has filed a $10 billion lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal, which first reported the existence of the letter. The letter shared by committee matches the Wall Street Journal's description, but the president maintains no connection to it. In Mexico, at least 10 people were killed, 61 injured when a freight train collided with a double-decker bus. The bus was attempting to cross the train tracks amid heavy traffic when it was struck. The victims included 7 women and 3 men. The rail operator expressed condolences to the families and urged all drivers to respect crossing signals. The bus operator is yet to comment as investigations continue.
Y nada más que no intervenga de este lado, no pasa nada.
Y para la lista, símbolos,
Terminal 4 at London's Heathrow Airport was evacuated Monday evening over a possible hazardous materials incident, but is now reopened after being declared safe. Emergency services, including specialized fire crew, responded, assessing around 20 people on the site with no harmful substance detected by police and the paramedics. The incident caused delays and disruption, with dozens of flights affected and trains temporarily unable to call at Terminal 4. Heathrow apologized for the inconvenience, assuring passengers they are working to keep flights on schedule and prioritizing safety. This follows a major power outage earlier this year that shut down the entire airport for nearly a day. Ukraine's main government building in Kyiv was severely damaged in Russia's largest air assault of the war, marking the first time the seat of the government was hit directly. The attack involved over 800 drones, multiple ballistic missiles, with thick smoke seen rising from the building's upper floors at the historic Peshchevsky district. Ukrainian officials confirmed several casualties, including an infant, as emergency services continue to assess the extent of the damage. Ukrainian leaders have called for stronger international sanctions and increased support to bolster defenses against ongoing attacks. Donald Trump has condemned the murder of 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee in North Carolina. Irina Zarutska was fatally stabbed on a train in Charlotte. The incident took place on the 22nd of August, calling the attacker a madman, a lunatic. Trump said, "There are evil people and we have to confront that." US President expressed his condolences and hope for the victim's family. The case has sparked fierce political debate, with the American right criticizing Democrats for what they see as lax crime policies. Trump pushes for tougher crime enforcement nationwide. The Trump administration has launched Operation Midway Blitz and intensified immigration enforcement action targeting undocumented immigration and criminal records in Chicago and Illinois. A senior ICE official has confirmed that arrests of 6 criminal aliens have already been made as federal partners join the operation. The Department of Homeland Security said the action aims to combat sanctuary laws that limit cooperation with federal immigration authorities. Colombian police, in cooperation with Interpol, have dismantled an international sex trafficking network exploiting Colombian women in Europe. At least 48 women trafficked from Bogota, Medellin, and Cartagena under false job promises were rescued from conditions described as modern slavery, involving forced drug use to break their will. The operation led to the arrest of 5 suspects in Colombia and 2 in Spain. Survivors of Morocco's 2023 earthquake, which claimed nearly 3,000 lives, gathered in Morocco's capital Rabat to demand the rebuilding of their homes under the government's reconstruction plan. Marking the 2nd anniversary of the disaster, dozens protested outside the parliament, voicing their frustration over being excluded from the recovery program. Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez has expressed skepticism about the United States' intention to deploy warships near Venezuela's coast to combat drug trafficking. Speaking at a press conference, she stated that cocaine is primarily trafficked through the Pacific Ocean, not the Caribbean, where the U.S. has increased its military presence. Vice President Rodriguez implied the U.S. naval deployments were misplaced. In India's Kerala, a 56-year-old woman died due to primary amoebic condition, a rare but often fatal brain infection caused by a free-living amoeba. Since the 14th of August, 5 people in Kerala have died from this infection, with 11 others currently being treated, some in critical condition. This year, Kerala has reported 42 cases of PAM, which spreads when contaminated fresh water enters the nose, following the amoeba to reach and damage the brain. Health authorities are urging caution while bathing or swimming in stagnant or untreated water. African leaders at the Africa Climate Summit in Ethiopia are urging a shift in climate funding, calling it not charity, but a strategic investment in the future. A head of the state attending the summit emphasized that Africa should be seen as an opportunity, not just a victim of climate change. The continent, home to over 1 billion people, has faced worsening droughts and floods, while ambitious renewable energy plans remain stalled by lack of financing. This year's summit focuses on unlocking climate funds and driving Africa-led solutions, with Ethiopia highlighting major strides, including the Grand Renaissance Dam and a vast reforestation drive. A final declaration of Africa's priorities will be presented at COP30 later this year. In India's Punjab, the death count due to the devastating floods has gone up to 51, while crops of hectares on land have been damaged. The havoc caused by heavy monsoon rain over the past week has caused rivers to swell and inundated several districts across the state. Thousands of people have been affected by the sudden downpour, prompting authorities to launch large-scale relief operations. In view of the situation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit Punjab today to review the flood-related situation. Prime Minister Modi will also interact with flood-affected people as well as NDRF, SDRF teams in Punjab's Gurdaspur. Europe's climate watchdog says last month was the planet's third hottest August on record, fueling raging wildfires and dangerous heat waves worldwide. Scientists warn that the combination of soaring land temperatures and unusually warm oceans is a clear signal. Cutting emissions is critical, and so is preparing for more intense climate emergencies. The World Bank is providing a $70 million loan to the Philippines to establish a co-insurance pool aimed at protecting small farmers and fisherfolk from climate change impact. A co-insurance pool allows multiple insurers to share the risk of a large or complex policy, such as those covering natural disasters or energy projects. The loan will support a 5-year climate protection program starting in 2026, benefiting an estimated 750,000 small farmers and fisherfolk. The World Bank aims to use its loan to mobilize an additional $300 to $500 million in climate protection for agri-based micro, small and medium enterprises. Oil prices rose today after OPEC Plus announced a smaller than expected production hike of $137,000 per 37,000 barrels, not dollars, a day starting in October, far below recent monthly increase. The limited supply boost, combined with mounting fears of new US and EU sanctions on Russian crude, following intensified attacks in Ukraine, fueled concerns over tighter global supply. Brent crude climbed $66.24 a barrel, while US crude rose $62.5 a barrel. Traders are also eyeing next week's Fed meeting with high odds of a rate cut that could further support oil demand. The US dollar sank to a nearly 7-week low as markets brace for potential major downward revisions on jobs data, with the economists predicting up to 800,000 fewer jobs than previously reported. This is fueling expectations of deeper Fed rate cuts, with traders pricing in a 25 to 50 basis point cut at next week's meeting. Political pressure on the Fed is also rising, and bond markets are flashing long-term fiscal warning signs. Meanwhile, gold remains near record highs, and major currencies like the euro, yen and Aussie dollar edged higher against the weakening dollar. A sweeping Murdoch family succession battle has finally been settled. Lachlan Murdoch, the eldest son, now assumes full control of the media empire spanning Fox News and the Wall Street Journal, resolving a dispute long dubbed as real-life succession. His siblings, James, Elizabeth and Prudence, each receive about $1.1 billion in a structured exit. A new $3.3 billion family trust has been established to benefit Lachlan and his younger sisters, Grace and Chloe, solidifying leadership continuity.
One of the money type like
Australian business conditions improved in August, according to a survey, the index rising 2 points to its long-term average level of +7. Profitability and employment strengthened, while input cost growth slowed to the softest pace since 2021. Forward orders turned positive for the first time in 2 years, signaling growing optimism across sectors. The United States is considering annual approvals for the export of chip-making supplies to Samsung and SK Hynix's factories in China, according to a Bloomberg report. U.S. commerce officials last week floated a site license idea. That's to replace indefinite authorization previously granted under the validated end-user system. Those waivers, which allowed the firms to ship tools and materials freely to their China plants, are due to expire at the end of this year. Under the new plan, Samsung and SK Hynix would need to seek approvals every year for exact quantities of restricted equipment. As per the report, the proposal has drawn mixed reactions in Seoul. While there is relief that a framework remains in place, there is also frustration at the extra bureaucracy. Elon Musk SpaceX has agreed to buy wireless spectrum and telecom firm EchoStar in a deal worth about $17 billion in cash and stock. The deal covers EchoStar's AWS-4 and H-Block spectrum licenses. SpaceX will pay up to $8.5 billion in cash and another $8.5 billion in stock. EchoStar will use the proceeds to pay down debt and fund more future operations. After this announcement, its shares jumped as much as 64% in pre-market trading on Monday. The move would allow SpaceX to offer direct-to-device mobile services more independently beyond its current partnership with T-Mobile. The transaction is also expected to resolve Federal Communications Commission inquiries into EchoStar's use of its airwaves. Philips has denied reports that France has opened a new criminal investigation into its sleep apnea devices recall. The 2021 recall affected about 15 million devices worldwide, including 350,000 in France, after safety concerns emerged that degrading foam could cause health issues. Philips has said that the ongoing proceedings launched in 2023 cover its actions around the 2021 recall, but do not relate to the safety of products currently sold in France. Last year, Phillips agreed to pay $1.1 billion to settle a related litigation in the United States. The company's shares fell nearly 5% on reports of a new probe, before recovering partly to trade down 1.3% by midday on Monday. Sandro Tonali saved Italy World Cup qualifying campaign. The four-time champions edged Israel in a 9-goal thriller with the Newcastle forward scoring an injury time winner. Israel led 1-0 and 2-1 before Italy moved 4-2 ahead and looked on course for a victory. Israel then scored in the 87th and 89th minute to make it 4-4. Italy have not qualified for the World Cup since 2014 and was staring at another setback. However, Tonali's low shot from 20 yards through crowded penalty area went into the bottom corner in the 91st minute. Nottingham Forest have sacked manager Nuno Espirito Santo after the Portuguese admitted that his relationship with the club's owner has broken down. The 51-year-old was given a contract extension until 2028 in June, but cracks appeared to show when he addressed the speculations over his future in a press conference. Santos said that him and the club owner rarely speak. The former Wolves manager defied expectations last season. Forest spent several weeks in the top 3 last season and qualified for Europa League for the first time in 29 years. Manchester City has reached a settlement with the Premier League regarding a challenge started by the club itself over the competition's sponsorship rules. City had mounted a legal challenge against the amendments made to the Associated Party Transaction or the APT rules. Last year, an independent tribunal declared some aspects of the amendments unlawful, but before the matter was escalated to another tribunal, both parties have now reached a settlement. City has conceded some ground and the club has reportedly been assured that it will not be treated differently, securing sponsorship with companies linked to its Abu Dhabi-based owners. A new digitally restored version of Satyajit Ray's 1970 classic Aranya Din Ratri had its North American premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival. The screening marks the latest success in a high-profile restoration effort championed by director Wes Anderson and carried out by the Film Foundation and the Film Heritage Foundation. The Toronto International Film Festival celebrated its 50th anniversary by hosting a gala premiere for a restored 4K version of the 1975 Indian cinematic epic Sholay. The screening, which took place at the 1,800-seater Roy Thomson Hall, brought the legendary film back to the big screen for a new generation. The restored version includes scenes and an original ending that were cut from the widely distributed theatrical release. The premiere was attended by the film's director, Ramesh Sippy, producer Shehzad Sippy, and actor Bobby Deol, son of Dharmendra Deol. The film festival also hosted the premiere of the series Gandhi, and the biographical drama is directed by Hansal Mehta. The series stars Prateek Gandhi and English actor Tom Felton, who is best known for his role as Draco Malfoy in the Harry Potter series. The Eagles have announced an extension of their highly successful Las Vegas residency at the Sphere. Due to overwhelming demand, the band has added 4 new shows in January 2026. The new dates are January 23rd, 24th, 30th and 31. Netflix unveiled the trailer for Wake Up, Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery, with Daniel Craig's Benoit Blanc returning to solve his most perplexing case yet. The new footage teases a classic locked-door mystery involving a priest's murder. The teaser arrived after the film's premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival.